So let's go ahead and look at this next problem here. So now we have a big chunk of a problem here. We see that there's an unknown measure here and an unknown measure here. We need to solve for both of them. And the only facts that we're given are angle JKL, so JKL, and angle MKN, angle MKN, are congruent. So this angle here is congruent with this angle MKN over here. So that means this value for x and the value for y have got to be the same shape and the same size. So this is what I know so far. Since I have a straight line, JKN, I know that when all of these angles are added up together, they have to equal 180 degrees. It's a half circle here. So when I take 80 degrees and add it to the measure of the angle for JKL, so I'm going to put an X down, and add this value to the measure for angle MKN, so the value for y, it has to equal 180 degrees. Now let's get a little bit more space here just for writing. And we know that angle X and angle Y, they're congruent. They're the same shape, same size, so they might as well be the same number or same variable. But I have two of them. So what I've got to do is I'm going to double them up in a second. I'm going to rewrite this as 80 plus, instead of x and y, let's just say I have 2x here. And I'm going to pretend that the y is tucked away in with this other x here. And I know that this is equal to 180 degrees. So now the next step, I've got to isolate the variable. So let's undo addition of this positive 80 here. I'm going to subtract by 80 on this side. If I do it to this side, I have to do it to the other side. That keeps the equation balanced. And I know that the opposites cancel out. I'm left with, well, 2x is equal to 180 minus 80, which is 100. So the next step, and asking myself, how do I isolate the variable? Well, I have to undo multiplication of 2. So let's divide by 2, and if I do it on this side, I have to do it to the other side. And I know that the opposites cancel out. And I'm left with x is equal to, well, 100 divided by 2 is 50. So I'm going to write a 50 here. And I know that the measure of x is 50 degrees. And I know that since the measure of y is congruent to the measure of x, it is also 50 degrees. Cool. Now the quick way of solving this problem, there's a quick way of doing this, and I'll just write that information up here. All you really have to do, if you want to be real quick, is take 180, subtract out the value for 80, and that will give you 100. And then you say, hey, you know what? I have two angles that are congruent, so let's just divide 100 by 2. We'll cut it in half and find out the measure of each of these angles. 100 divided by 2 is equal to 50. Cool stuff, guys. I'll see you in the next video.